I'm Robert Podolski from Podolski Honey Farms out of Canada. We've been in honey production since 1956, and I took over from my father, and now my sons are running the show. We are honey producers. That's all we've ever done. At a point there, we were up to 5,600 hives. And at one point we were producing up to just recently 450 metric tons of honey annually. And nowadays, since 2015, competing with the fake product coming out there, like last year we were only at 80 metric tons. And this year, I think we are right around 125 metric tons. So it's been a major reduction, and we've gone backwards hugely. And I mean hugely. To the point of death. Matching the price of the fake product, or the product they're trying to call honey that is not honey. And our cost of production is constantly going up. The price of our product is constantly going down. Since 2013, when we were virtually debt-free, and once you're debt-free, it's easy to be profitable, or much easier. Now we're in a position where we can't borrow another dime. My father's life insurance policy has been put back into the farm, and it's gone. We've had lawsuits that we won, and that's been put back into the farm, and we're lost. So I've lost a lifetime of wealth to the, shall I call the cabal or the cartels of the world that are dealing in this fake product, and they know what it is. And I'm sorry, but the cost of production climbs, and our price for our product goes down, down, down. And we're losing money and going backwards. And destruction comes easy, but rebuild is very hard. Takes a long time. Around 2000, when China got caught with chlorophenicals, and they got shut off from exporting into the United States. India was having a drought or a heat wave, I forget which it was. And they predicted they'd have a 10% reduction in honey production. Lo and behold, by that fall, they had a 10% surplus, okay? 10% increase in production. That was the beginning, I believe, of the transshipping of Chinese product through another country to enter the United States. At that point, India never surpassed 8 million pounds or kgs for export, okay? Well, 23 years later, look at the volume that they are exporting. 130 million pounds, okay? Their bee population has only grown maybe 13%, 8% to 13%, while the math doesn't add up. I'm sorry. You don't need a PhD degree to figure this one out. We just can't compete with it. We can't. It's not the real product. Direct impact for us, I guess, would be the ability to sell your product. Back in the 1980s, packers would come here and they would almost be begging you to have your product in the fall, your honey. And they'd build a relationship, a friendship with you, a bonding friendship. Back then, they would buy everything, your whole complete crop, from first barrel to last barrel, regardless the color, regardless the moisture, regardless the flower source. They'd buy it all. Okay? Today, they're selective. We only want this color, this moisture, this flower source, and that's it. Now, I found out recently, a guy was telling me, he's a smaller packer, and he says his competitors are buying this fake honey, as they call it, or so-called honey. It's got zero fingerprint. Nothing. Then they take 1 barrel of the authentic honey and they blend it into 9 or 19 of these barrels of the fake product, and it picks up the fingerprint of the authentic product, and they sell it as the authentic product because it has a fingerprint now. And it's just non-doable. Non-doable. Boy, that's a big thing. Big important thing. So in the past, I service a little area with my bees. I provide pollination to the local farmers. This year and last year, I didn't have the money to pump into the bees, and we had some major crashes, meaning the bees die on us. And that's because of lack of financing to put the proper things into the bees to keep them healthy and alive and do the labor that's involved. So we take shortcuts and you suffer. Sometimes when you're money strapped, you make bad decisions and you cut corners that cost a lot greater than you thought. So anyhow, one farmer who had a crop, and he says, I need bees. So we put bees there, but not the volume that would be required. If he's requiring 3 hives per acre, I only put like 2 hives per acre because I just didn't have the volume of bees. I have other farmers to take care of also. Lo and behold, his yield was reduced by 70%, he says, on his crop. So he lost money because I didn't provide him with the pollination. And it's a vicious spin-off. The authenticity in our stores in Canada, I think, is not too bad from certain honey packers, okay? There are some other ones that are buying other product, bringing in from other countries that definitely is not product, and it's inferior, meaning junk. So I have people from that are passing through, and they are from, say, like the big cities, and they, like Toronto, and they stop in and they buy some of our honey, and then we get a letter from them later saying, wow, yours is so nice. How come the stuff I buy in the store isn't as good? I says, well, you're getting the real product. And they're just shocked, okay, that honey can taste so good. Now, there's products of honey that come from other countries that is literally repulsive tasting. But with resin technology, they can wash out this repulsive taste. They can bring down the color of the honey to make it more appealing to the eye, but there's nothing in that so-called honey that should be in authentic honey. It's not honey. It becomes basically just sugar water. That's it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have taken samples of product off the store shelf, run it through several different labs with not just one test, but many different tests. And it will pass a certain test, but it doesn't pass the other tests. And then when we submit it to our CFIA, our Canadian Food Inspection Agency, they do nothing about it. Nothing. And the odd time they'll say, oh, well, we caught some and we prosecuted some. Yeah, 14,000 pounds. Big deal. It's a spit in the ocean when Canada produces 90 to 100 million pounds. It's a spit in the ocean. And they're getting away with it. And the packers that are the major players, they know what they're dealing with. And if you explain to them, they hang up the phone on you because they don't want to hear it. It really hit hard this year. We can't sell a pound of honey. Can't sell a pound. You phone the packers and, we're not buying. And then they say, oh, we can't use your Canadian honey. It's no good. It granulates. But just across the border in North Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, it's the same honey. The packers have no problem using that. No problem. NMR, I believe, is a pretty good tool. Actually, really good tool. If you use the full spectrum, okay? If you use all that you can do with it. What some backers are saying, or some people are saying, importers, ours is NMR tested, but they're just using a few little parameters. And that's it. They don't want to look at the whole spectrum. So that brings to the fact they know what it can pass and what it will not pass. So what it will not pass, they do not look at it. But yet when you take, for instance, my honey, it'll pass everything because it's the real product. These fraudsters, they're professionals, and that's it. They know how to manipulate the market. Okay, so if NMR is being used and it's catching adulterated product, that displaces my competition. So when there is massive volumes of product, the price goes down. Okay? You reduce that volume of product. Well, now there could be so-called shortage or more competition for it, so that the price goes up. It's the law of supply and demand. So the NMR will catch the fake adulterated product and it throws that out of the market, out of the consumer, out of the industrial user. Then they're forced to come to me and say, okay, we need your honey again. So then I can hopefully be profitable because now there's a demand for our product. And the price theoretically will go up. Yes, our industry really should. Our government in Canada, our current government, is not doing their job. So we are an exporting nation. We produce 2/3 more than we consume. So why do we import a product? It doesn't, the same product. It doesn't make no sense. Unless it was specialty honey. Okay? Like, let's say, use Manuka from New Zealand for an example. Okay? It's very expensive. Let it come in. Okay? But in small volumes. When you're going to be bringing in 2/3 of our consumption, it doesn't make no sense. Let's blueberry honey, for example, raspberry honey, orange blossom honey, any type of honey, but it better be a specialty honey in small volumes that could be imported. But when you're importing massive volumes of anything, why?